Jerry Jones lied, but the lie had some truth hidden underneath, if you want to follow. So let's hit the screen. Most of you who are into sports and sports media and tap into this pod know I try to stay on top of all the stuff when it comes to sports media. Jerry Jones does a weekly hit on a Dallas radio station. It is the flagship station for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, let's talk about what flagship means. Flagship means it's the home of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Jerry Jones does not own this radio station, but that radio station and the Cowboys have a financial contract so that station gets to call themselves the home, the official home, your radio home, the flagship station for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, how do I know about this stuff? Because I used to work at the home, at the flagship of the New York Giants. That was my first job in media. So here's the information of what I can tell you. When you have a station that has a direct relationship with a team for branding purposes and otherwise, there is a lot of give and take, right? You get access, but you protect us, right? So it's the give and the take. The Cowboys allow, more so Jerry Jones allows himself to come on this platform and give these guys ratings, give Jerry a platform, let him spew whatever he wants to spew, and they get the ratings, they get the clicks, they get the notoriety of knowing, hey, this show, this station is going to have the owner of the Dallas Cowboys on the air every week during football season. There's a cachet that comes with that. That's not the only sports radio station in Dallas. So therefore, the competitors do not have Jerry Jones on every week. So if you're a Cowboys fan, which a lot of folks in Dallas are clearly and across the nation, they know when Jerry is mad or when Jerry is popping or when Jerry is lit, no matter what he is, you're going to hear his exclusive thoughts at this station. And that puts them in the upper tier in terms of clout. When you have that, there's an exchange. We give you Jerry Jones, you protect us as a brand. You toe the line and critique when you have to, but don't cross that line because we can pull that relationship. We can tear up that contract. We can forego the bread and we can go down the block to your competitors and get them popping and tell everyone that now Jerry's over there. So there's that relationship where you look out for me, I look out for you. It's a symbiotic relationship. We all good, right? Well, after getting their doors blown off by the Lions at the crib on Sunday with offensive linemen running multiple routes, Jerry was in the mood. And Jerry's on his way to the owner meetings, and he has to now allow another billionaire to get crowned, and we'll talk about that one later. But Jerry's on his way to the owners' meetings. He may have been physically at the owners' meetings for all we know, but the owner meetings are going on. Jerry is, without a doubt, the owner in the NFL. No matter what Bob Kraft tries to do and others of that ilk, it's Jerry Jones. Was Al Davis a long time ago, but that's since been passed on to his son, and his son, as we'll talk about soon, the Raiders are a dumpster fire. But Jerry went on the air, and Jerry was asked some quote-unquote tough questions, and Jerry Jones finally let down the veil and decided to speak like a billionaire. Let's tap in.
Jerry, 1970, a little different from this past off season in building the team we're talking about today, which there was a lot of criticism that you guys didn't add, didn't spend, and don't add, and don't spend, and are not aggressive enough with some of the problems that are still haunting the Cowboys today that we see play out on the field. That's the point of talking about the offseason.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so a relatively fair question. He's trying to bring up the fan perspective. Hey, fans want to know how come the team didn't spend or hasn't shown the propensity to spend, et cetera, et cetera. So it's not a question that's off limits. But again, I'm not the billionaire. I'm not the one with the Johnny Walker double blue. I'm not that guy. I don't have Jerry's world. I'm not billions up. I'm not any of that. But Jerry, who you could tell, I mean, the team got his beloved team got their ass beat right in front of him, in front of the nation on his birthday. And we don't know how many more birthdays Jerry got. But we now know one of his presumably last birthdays was sitting in his stadium watching his team get destroyed in front of a national audience.
Oh, I remember those criticisms very well. Okay, so what?
Okay, the so what should have been the little bug in the ear of the host of, oh, he didn't like that. He didn't like that. But let's see how they respond to that.
Or are they playing out to be accurate?
What's your point?
So he tries to follow up. Again, the radio host's job here in understanding the flow of give and take. You got to understand that relationship. Now, they may think they have an actual relationship with Jerry. That's the false sense of security you can get at times when you are the flagship station of a team. I can tell you, the station that I worked at, we were the flagship station when I first got there of the Giants and the Mets. Then they got the Mets up out of there, and then they became the home of the Yankees. So Giants and Yankees. There were definitely some hosts and some producers that thought that because they have relationships where I'm talking to this particular player or this coach or this GM, that they thought they had a real relationship, not understanding that relationship is strictly a business one. You play your role, I play my role, we shake hands, and I bid you a good night. Money is exchanged, not in the payola sense, but when you see coaches pop up on these shows, you know, the whole thing with Aaron Rodgers and McAfee, and people were stunned and surprised that Aaron Rodgers was getting a bag from McAfee. I'm like, well, y'all don't know how the game works. That's exactly how that works. You think these coaches really want to take 15 to 20 minutes out of their day to do yet another media obligation with another platform and presumably people that aren't on the road? It's not like doing press conferences and you're seeing the beat writers or, you know, the local reporters following the team, stuff like that. This is just, the local, you know, shock jock, the local hot taker, the local fraud wants 15 to 20 minutes for the free? No. Cough up that bread. So understand there's business in regards to the radio station and the team itself, but then at times there's another layer of bread where it's the radio station and the particular talent directly, whether it's an athlete, a coach, a GM, or in this case, maybe even an owner. So I think Mans in this clip felt like he could push Jerry a little bit because I'm sure he's been a part of this show and he's done this hit for a minute with Jerry always coming on. So I think he had a sense of familiarity with Jerry, and Jerry had to let him know where his place really is.
What's your point?
My point is, it seems like
Listen, let me tell you what I'll do. Let me tell you what I'll do about it.
See, now again, the dude is trying to see now it's about, well, now I can't back down. I've already jumped out the window and tried to push Jerry. Jerry's annoyed. Now I can't fall back because if I fall back, I'm going to get called out for it. So now I kind of have to toe the line and stay there, even though I really don't want to be in these deep waters with Jerry Jones. But because of I've already jumped out there and he's agitated and he's coming back at me, now I can't back down because I'm supposed to be the voice of the fan and I can't be seen as bowing down to an owner. So now Jerry's going to put this man in his place.
I will let us sit down and look at the decisions we've made over the last several years. Okay? I'll look at it. Now, if you think I'm interested on a damn phone call with you over a radio.
See, now here we go. See, this is where the line is drawn. This is where Jerry is telling you, I'm Jerry Jones. I'm billions up. I'm an NFL Hall of Famer. I run the most popular franchise, if not in America, for sure in this league. I am him. When I walk through the owners' meetings, there's only one owner that really matters amongst the 32 when it comes to league matters. and it's me. And I'm sitting here giving you minutes of my time on a station that my organization has cut a deal with. And you out here pressing me? This is all of this comes down to, do you know who you're talking to? Sometimes you get that reality check. With some of my boys growing up, as we got to be teenage and college years and all of that, it was a thing called the Sam D reality check, where sometimes you had to let people know who they are. I was known as that guy. If you ever want the truth, whether it's good or bad, go to Sam. Sam will give you the reality check. Now, some people would feel away at times because, like, hey, don't ask me if you don't want to know. Don't ask me the truth if you don't want the truth. If you want the truth, I'm going to tell you the truth. The Sam D reality check, it's a thing. This is the Jerry Jones reality check for this host, because he's telling you, I'm billions up and I'm taking my time out to be on the phone with you on the radio, not a live stream where the business is going, not a TV show, which is the industry standard. I'm talking to you on the radio and you trying to bark at me? Let me tell you who I am.
And sitting here and throwing all the good out with the dishwater, you have got to be smoking something over there this morning. I'm not. And
then you try to laugh it off uncomfortably because Jerry's trying to, he's not giving it to him raw yet. He's not giving it to him raw yet, but he's letting them know I could be on that type of time if you really want me to. Don't get it twisted.
I really don't, and I don't even want our listeners to listen to me.
Our listeners, not your listeners, our listeners. We share this. This is not a thing of I'm on your radio show talking to your audience at your radio station. This is I'm talking to our audience on our radio station. Now, because it's lying season, that's not true. But the point remains, because of what I mentioned earlier, the cachet of being able to say we are the radio home, we are the flagship station for, that makes it our station. Now, it doesn't make it Jerry's station, but Jerry feels wherever I put this large entity of the Dallas Cowboys, I have say. And he goes on to blatantly not even infer that, blatantly say that later in the clip.
To talk about, this is not your job.
This is not your job.
Your job isn't to let me go over all the reasons that I did something, and I'm sorry that I did it.
So my job, your job as the host, is not to have me, the owner of the damn Dallas Cowboys, out here giving mea culpas to my as in Jerry, to my audience, which is Cowboys fans listening, because the only reason why they're listening to y'all is because I'm here on this show.
It's not your job.
Well, my job is to ask
why.
why.
A job, or I'll get somebody else to ask these questions, man.
I'll get somebody else to ask these questions. Now, is that or was that a veiled threat? No, because I can tell you from experience that if a host and a athlete, coach, front office exec, et cetera, have a bad interaction on air, or if the power, which again is not the host, not the talent, the power, which is the sport, the organization, the athlete, the whoever, if they have an issue with that talent, you will not see that talent interviewing that host the next time around. I've seen it from my own eyes. If a host gets out of line, because again, it's a give and take relationship. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. If you no longer scratching my back, it's going to be a problem. And I have the power to get you moved up out of here. I don't have to go on this show. I'll go on the next show where they'll get in line. So if this is the morning show in Dallas, okay, y'all playing funny. Y'all think I could talk tough to me? I bet I'm going to go on the afternoon show. And even though it's the same station, please believe there be beef There's competition. There's natural inborn competition between the different time slots. The morning show don't want Jerry on the afternoon show. So if it ain't you, it's going to be the other show. And if the other show don't want to act right, then I'll go up the block to your competitor. But I'm going to get mines. That's what Jerry's telling this man. I'm going to get mines, and you're going to get yours, and you're going to be unemployed. Because if you're known as the guy that made Jerry Jones go down the block to our competitor, it's a problem. Your job security, especially in this economy, is not secure.
Jerry.
And a bunch of uncomfortable laughing because Jerry he's talking his talk. The veil has come down. We're no longer talking in that give and take, scratch my back, I scratch yours. Jerry's telling you, I run this. Don't get out of line. Don't forget your role in this.
Jerry, we're trying to figure out why the team is.
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I will have your job. Do you not know who you again? When you think you have a relationship and then you realize you don't, this is the tone that you're given. This is the face of when you realize, oh, I thought me and Jerry were cool. I thought I had a relationship with Jerry. I thought we've been doing this hit for X amount of years that, okay, I can be able to get it off and have some pushback. This man's now trying to take my job. This man now threatened my job.
You're not going to figure out what the team is doing right or wrong. If you are, or any 5 or 10 like you, you need to come to this meeting I'm going to today. There are 32 teams here. You're geniuses.
Reminding you, I'm at the owners' meeting. We're geniuses here. And they're geniuses because they've amassed billions of dollars and they made the genius move of purchasing teams like Jerry has, right? At least that's what he's trying to convey. Man's just telling you, you're not on my level. This is a reality check. Putting you back in place. Yes, I may come on our show, but let's be clear whose name is on the marquee. It ain't you. It ain't you, it's me. Wherever show I go to, I'm the big name on the marquee. My name's in the big font. Your name's on the little font if I even allow it to be on the same marquee as me.
Jerry,
okay. Y'all really think you're going to sit here with a microphone and tell me all of the things that I've done wrong and without going over the rights?
Well,
now, listen, we both know we're talking to a lot of great fans and a lot of great listeners.
See, now he's trying to clean it up. He knows it's a weird dance you have to do. How can I give them the real talk and let them know they just fucked up? They picked the wrong day. It's a day after my birthday. My team just got blown out, and now you're trying to press me? You just fucked up. How do I tell you you just fucked up, but yet don't come across as an asshole to my millions and millions of fans?
And I am very sorry for what happened out there Sunday. I'm sick about what happened Sunday. Now, I'm not talking.
So that's the clip. There's a lot going on there. There's a lot to get out of that. I think ultimately, when you're looking at this, the sports media relationship stuff, I'm so happy that this came to light because this shows that there's a lot that is smoke and mirrors. And working in this industry for over 15 years has shown me that. It has kind of soured me on the concept of fandom, and that's how I developed fandoms and mental illness and all that type of stuff, because you learn the business of it. And so much of fandom is just blind faith, blind optimism. And now there's this weird thing of, well, I'm a realistic fan. No such thing. You cannot be a realistic fan because you're still believing in a concept that has nothing to do with you. You're still believing in outcomes that have nothing to do with you. You're still ignoring the fact that you are only yet a small cog of the operation. To support something and to invest time and emotion and money into something such as a sports team, to me, is ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous. And I can speak to this because I used to be one of those. I used to be a hot taker. I used to be out here yelling and screaming about the Mets, yelling and screaming about the Knicks, because I was chief Nick hater still, chief Nick hater number one. I would be yelling and screaming from the mountaintops about the Mets. And then I learned, because I used to work at the flagship station of the Mets, how the Mets operation really worked. And I read books by Jeff Pearlman of how the organization really moved. And you realize, like, oh, this is nasty. This is Fortune 500 corporate America to a T. Oh, this operation ain't no better. This isn't, the winning isn't luck. The losing isn't just bad management. This is all by design. This is all by design. Now, Jerry's caught some flack. The clip went viral. The host out here trying to talk tough. Like, you know, they're shocked and stunned that Jerry would treat them in a way. So after the day's proceedings at said owners meetings, with Jerry let them know that he's at, he was asked if he had any regrets in how he treated the host. And was it problematic what he did and how it went viral and so on and so forth? Let's lock in so as my keyboard allows me. I'll just read it here. Let me see. I'll zoom in. There we go. All right, there we go. Jerry says, and I quote, "I don't know that I would go as far as calling the volume connotation as yelling, okay? But the facts are that if I'm going to be grilled by the tribunal, I don't need it to be by the guys I'm paying." So again, Jerry is out here letting you know, the guys that I'm paying, again, he's lying. He doesn't own the radio station, okay? But because of the relationship the team has with the station by signing a deal with them, which bread did exchange hands now. Let's be clear. Bread is exchanged when that happens. That is why Jerry feels, hey, I'm paying you dudes. Because I'll tell you a real dirty secret. There's not a lot of money in radio, even as talent. Now, Dallas is a top 10 market for sure. And I'm not saying these dudes is broke, but the bread you think they might be making, they're probably not. So Jerry knows the money that his team is paying that station to allow them to call themselves the flagship station of the Dallas Cowboys. So that's why he could say, look, I'm not going to take this about the guys I'm paying. I can take it from the fans and take it from other people. I take a lot of pride in how fair and how much I try to work with the media. We're brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters. See, there's a relationship. You do for me, I do for you. We may not have to agree. We can agree to disagree, but as long as you don't get out of line, I won't get out of line. Everybody eats. But I was a little frustrated there today. The wrong ones were doing the questioning. Now, if those had been real fans, so see again, he's shading these dudes even after the fact. The wrong ones were doing the questioning. Now, here we go. Jerry's been on that show a lot. That's the show Jerry goes on. So, were they the right ones last week, Jerry? Anyway. Now, if those had been real fans sitting there, or if there had been people that knew what they were talking about, football people, because again, there's an inherent, what's the word I'm looking for here? There's an inherent, what's the word? There's an inherent arrogance when you're talking to people within the NFL. When you're talking to people within the National Checkdown League, when you're talking to insiders, when you're talking to people that work with teams high levels up. I can tell you because I have spoke to some of them. Some of them are actually really cool people, and some of them are exactly who you think they are. However, when you're not hired by your team, when you're not a scout, when you're not closely affiliated, when your dad wasn't a player or a scout or a former exec, you're all put into the same bucket of you're a fan. You're a fan, you're a fan, you're a fan. That's the bucket you're put in if you don't have ties, direct or indirect, to the league, to the Shield. You're seen as a fan. You're just seen as another customer. Now, you may have a show, you may have a mic, you may work at a radio station that I break bread with and give them naming rights, et cetera, but you're not a football person. You may think because you watch the All 22, you may think because you rewatch games, you may think because you do deep dives and you're the best in your group chat in Madden and all that stuff that makes you a football person. You're not. That's all that Jerry said in that quote. And that's how they all view y'all, by the way. It's true. You have to prove, the only way you can prove yourself is by getting a gig at a team. Then you're like welcomed in, you're ingratiated in. You're not seen as knowing ball. I don't care if you are a high school star, 4-star, 5-star, and you flamed out, didn't do anything. That don't mean nothing to them. If you ain't employed by the league, if you're not getting a check from the Shield, you're not a football person. So, no back down in Jerry. Jerry's still lying, though. Doesn't own a radio station. However, because he has the branding rights that he can auction off to whoever he wants, low-key kind of does own the radio station. But will he really use that power and get mans up out of here? I don't know. I would love for him to see it. I would love for him to do it so we can actually see it, because then we can really have some conversations about the sports media, and the real relationship, which is why I try to do this podcast and how this pod has evolved over the years to where I was giving out hot takes and talking about basketball and the stuff that I was really into at that time, and how it's just kind of morphed into, let's look at the business. Let's look at how all this shit is made. Jerry's using his power. It's funny how a billionaire doing billionaire things made people look at the billionaire funny, as if he's not a billionaire. Again, it's something that I've said for a very long time. Name me an ethical billionaire. You can't, because they don't exist.